We are live. It is 3:46 p.m. Central Standard Time in the United States, 9:47 p.m. GMT in the UK. It's Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey,
there you go. Almost had it. I missed the title of our show. It's been kind of as you can tell, we're late usually, but now today we're like super late. So sorry about that. I had some things going on and I could not avoid, so I apologize for making everybody wait. And if you're watching the stream, if you're not, you should be. We got Gaylon decided to swing on by. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you coming by. I know you have a lot of other stuff going on a busy Sunday afternoon, so thank you for spending time with us here on the project.
Oh, no problem. It's always fun just coming in and chatting with you guys. Especially Joe, no offense, but I've met Joe in person at the Snapdragon Summit, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was great, man.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, of all the guests we ever have on, Gaylon and I should have actually met. We live in the same damn city. So
that's the crazy part about it.
I know it's like
we sort that out, man.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, we can do that any time that Gaylon has a free moment. So how funny that Joe met him first across the entire
right.
So that's all. But like good. Well, I guess that's a good way to start off. So we already spoke to Joe about his experience in Maui. How did you? I mean, it looked like you guys were having a lot of fun. I mean, from all the pictures and the videos and stuff. How did you enjoy your time at the summit?
It was beautiful, man. Hawaii is just like one of those places that's like you could tell they take care of their land and their state. It's just a beautiful place, first of all, and just the experience that Snapdragon gave us was just like something you can't replicate. It's just all organic. The perfect group of people. I'll keep saying this: the Snapdragon Insiders is definitely like one of the best communities in the tech scene.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
I'm not a part of Team Pixel or anything like that, but I still think the Snapdragon Insiders is the best just because of all of the people in it. They just picked the perfect group of people. I can't like explain that.
Yeah, it's a great group, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, my experience in Hawaii was like really cool. A little more busy than I thought it was going to be, but it was a good kind of busy. We got to play with tech all week while our plus ones and everything did their own thing. But yeah, it was a really good time.
Well, and also too, Joe got to meet. I guess the funny thing is, he said he came by Michael Fisher instead of calling him Michael.
That was.
Yeah, he called him by his name. It's like, yeah. So who did you? Other than meeting Joe and getting into it, who was somebody that you kind of like? Oh, I finally get to meet them in person. Somebody maybe had been following for a while. It was kind of cool to actually meet them in person.
Well, first and foremost, Joe's
right.
like the coolest dude ever. Kevin Breeze, me and Kevin Breeze have been going back and forth on Twitter for a few years now, and meeting him in person was like actually super dope. Cool. Ian's Tech, I think that was like our main like tight knit group. Joe, Ian's Tech, and Kevin Breeze. For the Snapdragon Insiders anyway. That was just like our little tight-knit group. But in terms of like YouTube celebrities, I thought it was really cool to meet Flossie Carter. He is like
he's best friends with Flossie Carter now.
Yeah, you guys are BFFs forever.
I wish. Yeah, he was like super cool, just very down to earth. Like the personality that you would like meet with him in person is definitely like the same online persona. He's just like the cool uncle. Like he's just a really cool guy. And your average consumer, I actually like conversated with him a few times while at the summit, and it was super dope. Got to take a picture with him. He met my fiance. It was really cool because that's like the only tech creator that my fiance will watch is your average consumer. So just being able to incorporate her with that is actually really cool. Saw a lot of other ones going around. I talked to Michael Fisher for a few minutes as well. Saw Jaime Rivera. Gadgets Boy, just a whole bunch of cool creators there.
Gadget Boy is cool, yeah.
Definitely felt like I shouldn't have been there, but it is what it is. It was a great experience.
Dude,
for sure.
You're on an advert now. Do you want to tell us about that?
What happened?
You're on an advert now, aren't you, for Snapdragon? I'll see you.
An advertisement.
Oh, got you.
That's what happens when you met Joe and you know him. But if you hang around as much as I do, you have to start speaking English. Because I knew exactly what was meant. I knew what he meant exactly, but I don't think Gaylon was following. He's like, I didn't catch what he said.
Advent calendar,
advertisement, an advertisement. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. was a really cool experience. Was not expecting anything like that at all. I thought it was going to be quick, but they had a lot of like super professional people out there. Really felt like I was on TV or whatever, even though they only displayed it on YouTube and their socials or whatever. I thought it was still the coolest experience ever. Really nice people. Got to see some awesome tech. They actually used like some Snapdragon powered phones. I couldn't tell which one it was, but I think it was like one of those Xiaomi phones with crazy Sony sensors or something. Yeah, it was just a really cool experience overall, especially for techie. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
We'll have to share that on the channel afterwards. It's a great ad. Geeky Stuff's in it as well, isn't he?
Oh yeah. And what was her name? Aaliyah. That was her name, right? She's pretty cool.
Yeah, Aaliyah's in it. Yeah, was it Shanae as well?
Yeah,
is it Shanae? Yeah.
A lot of cool people. Cool. Just the overall Snapdragon Insiders. I would go to any other Insiders events. Like
they forgot to ask me, Sam. They forgot me.
Oh, that's okay. Well, and I guess my question is, so did they have like different groups of people? Because I saw that you and Gaylon were all kind of one group. I mean, obviously, like for the other people, like the Flossie Carters, the Michael Fishers, people, did they have them? Were they grouped in another kind of group with you, or because I don't in any of the pictures, I don't see them like in the background. I don't see them around.
So for the most part, just to my understanding anyway, the Insiders were like basically together. They had a few like doing other side projects like me, like with the commercial, and Kevin and some of the other Insiders were doing like some other stuff. But for the most part, we would interact with like the bigger creators like throughout the trip. They didn't like go to like a lot of the different like things that we did. They were trying to like keep them separate because they have that like celebrity status. So
I got a feeling that they were kind of segregated, and not in a negative way, but just they had their own kind of group where they were focusing on the people that the Michael Fishers, the Jaime Riveras, those kind of, and then the smaller people that were like either smaller creators or podcasters or whomever, or
other press,
other press were kind of in a different group with other press kind of people, which makes sense,
right? Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, like I said, you got hopefully you got the same kind of goodie bag and fun stuff that Joe goes, and hopefully you guys get to do it again. Yeah. I don't know how that works. Do they bring the same people back? Do they rotate through? I don't know how any of that stuff works.
In terms of the UK, I think it rotates. Geeky Stuff probably will get to go again, probably, but in terms of other Insiders, they like to rotate, give other people the experience, which is fair enough. I mean, makes sense. I mean, I'd love to go again, though.
Yeah, I would love to go again. I don't know how they pick it, but I don't think anyone really goes multiple times for the most part. They try to.
No, although some of the guys from one of the guys from Indonesia.
Oh, they have the Indonesian guys.
They've been previous years as well. So, I mean, I guess it's different with each insider group.
Yeah, the Snapdragon Insiders group is kind of weird anyway because it is like separated by region as well. So it's like all different PR companies dealing with everyone pretty much. So
because 1,000 Heads do the UK team, and Snapdragon themselves do US, which makes sense.
Does US,
and then I don't know who does the other ones, but it was cool meeting people from different places.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, it's one of those things where it's kind of nice that they have different kinds of folks come in, so that way it's kind of first of all, it's a fresh experience for everybody, but also, instead of having the same core group of people that I get to go every year, it kind of excludes other people who may be either wanting to go or would like to go, and also get some different experience and different exposures to different folks. So it makes a lot of sense. Probably not as many Indonesian creators versus American and probably British and European creators. So.
Right.
So G-Man, how did you feel? Like I felt part of the reason we was there as insiders was to be cheerleaders, if you know what I mean. So during the
things, kind of,
which makes sense because we're fans of Snapdragon, we're insiders, right. So that's our role to sort of be cheerleaders there.
I agree. I feel like it
show enthusiasm.
I definitely feel like it was kind of like a work in paradise type situation.
Yeah.
We pretty much were like working the entire time, just getting our hands on the tech and creating. A lot of people were creating content. I've created content as well. I actually have a video dropping next week about my experience, just putting up the final edits on that. But Yeah, it was definitely a lot of work involved, as well as just being in paradise.
Yeah. Well, I told Joe, I said, when you're going, he's like, well, this is my first trip to the US. I said, well, Hawaii really isn't the United States. I mean, it is in the United States, but I mean, it could practically be its own country. It's like going to Puerto Rico. Yeah, sure. Technically, it's a part of the United States as far as a protectorate and a Commonwealth, and all. But really, it's its own country. It's its own culture, its own scenery. It's not like it'd be different if you were coming to like, Omaha, Nebraska. Then it would probably have been like, yeah, you're coming to the U.S. But if you're going to Maui or Oahu or Puerto Rico, you're going to get a different kind of vibe than really being.
Yeah, I told Joe the same thing multiple times while.
Yeah, everyone did.
Yeah, me and Gaylon know, as being from St. Louis, we realize that would be an American experience.
In the middle of everything, yeah.
Right, we have a truly American experience. However, if you're going to Maui, you are going to the U.S., but not really. It's kind of
right.
So it's all good. So other than your Snapdragon, what else have you been working on, Gaylon, recently? I've got a lot of phones have come out since we've had you on. So what else has been really taking up your time on your channel?
Well, I'm daily driving the Pixel 8 Pro.
Okay.
I'm going to be creating content on that. I actually don't have it on. It died this morning. The Nothing Watch Pro. I'm reviewing that. You'll see some more content on that. I have an unboxing scheduled for next week as well. I think I have another video. Snapdragon actually sent me the TicWatch Pro 5. So I'll be unboxing and reviewing that. I've been so busy, I haven't even been able to open that up yet. So I'm going to be documenting all of that. So 2 smartwatches and probably Pixel content coming up. I'd really want to do a comparison between the Pixel 8 Pro and the S23 Ultra, because I feel like those are just peak Android right now. So
yeah, and I want to ask too, because and Joe uses a Pixel, and we have, and then also you daily drive a Pixel. How do you square that with your experience at Snapdragon? Did they know you did? You just not bother to tell them? Because obviously it's not running a Snapdragon chip.
So
right?
I really wanted to make most of my content at that event, like with a Snapdragon powered device. So I definitely had my S23. I actually had hotspot on. I didn't want to take the SIM out of my Pixel because of the call features and things like that. So I had my hotspot on, and I just bring it literally everywhere. It was basically stayed in my pocket, but I'd have the Snapdragon S23 Ultra out, like using Wi-Fi, using that to record basically my whole experience there and everything else. But I definitely had it with me. I was able to take a few pictures like towards the end because I saw more people taking other phones out. So I'm like, maybe I'll just like shoot some pictures because it is beautiful out here. So I basically just used my Pixel as a camera.
Because funny, Gaylon said to me before we went, he goes, "Oh, dude, you're gonna bring your Pixel?" I said, "Yeah, of course, man." And I said to him, "Look, listen to me. Every single content creator there, or a lot of them, are gonna bring up iPhones out. So they're not even gonna be Android based. So don't worry about bringing your Pixel. It's all good." But yeah, we weren't pulling it out like at the keynote, like, "Whoa."
Yeah, look at my Pixel running a tensor chip. Woohoo! Right, I'm here for the Snapdragon. Right? Yeah. No, I was just curious because I know Gaylon is a fan of Pixel and has used that as a daily. I know Joe's used it with other phones as well. I was just curious because you're really supposed to be for an event, and obviously you may use a phone that doesn't have. Obviously, if you have an iPhone or if you have a Pixel, you're not using a Snapdragon device, so it's kind of like okay. But I think they have to understand that's the way it is, right? You don't have the Apple market, you're never going to, so because they're going to do their own silicon. You may have an inroad with the Tensor because maybe Google doesn't have the wherewithal to continue on the Tensor, but I don't know. Maybe they do. Who knows? Maybe they'll change to a Snapdragon at some point. Do you ever think they would? I mean, what do you think it's going to take? Really?
So what I want them to do, I'm a big fan of actually like the mid-range Snapdragon processors. So the 700 series, which is now the 7 Gen series. I've always felt like they like performed like just as well as the flagships for like most things, maybe not gaming or like video editing or things like that, but in everyday experience I've always felt like that performance was like right on par, but you get better battery life because you're not using as much power. I've always had like a very pleasant experience with 7 series chips, and I really want Google to do that again because the Pixel 5 was actually 7 series, right?
Yeah, that was a beast.
Yeah, and that was an absolute beast and had really good battery life. So that's what I want to see Google do preferably, because that's my main issue with the Pixel, honestly, is the processing and the battery and charging. Just I feel like they have really lackluster hardware this year. Like I love the design and everything, but the internals just don't feel right for a flagship. So I really hope they go back to Snapdragon just for that major reason, honestly.
But it won't happen, I don't think.
Me neither.
Sadly. I'd love to see it happen. Like, you know, I'd love to see, you know, like Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 with Galaxy. I'd love to see with Google, like Google having their input on it and overclocking it and stuff like that. But it's not going to happen.
I mean,
because of cost.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And the and just I did check the Pixel 5 had the 765G is what it had.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you could tell like it took a little bit longer processing images. You know, you took photos. It took a little bit longer, but I mean, I love the Pixel 5. That was my first Pixel. I actually came on to Sam's old podcast and talked about it. Actually, didn't I? Do you remember?
Yeah.
But yeah, that got me into Pixel.
Yeah, the 4A5G was my first one, so I think we're on the same generation for the most part.
Yeah. Then I did try a 4XL for a little while as well, just because everyone was telling me, no, you need to try a flagship Pixel. So before the 6 Pro come out, I tried a 4XL for a little while.
That's the only Pixel I have. I still have my 4XL. It's upstairs. The only reason I don't use it more often is just because the battery on it's not very good, and it's older, so it's really it's really bad. It's not terrible, but it's not. Oh, it performs fine.
Yeah,
it performs fine. I think the performance is still decent. You know, but I'm also
Snapdragon 855. Is it
65?
65 is it?
65, I think.
So I'm used to using that. Like I said, I've had. You know, I still have my Duo, which runs is an 855, and everybody's like, "This thing's garbage." I was like, "Well, I had no problem booting it up and using it every day. It works perfectly fine." Well, I mean, I'm not trying to do, I'm not trying to make videos or anything else, So for like to Gaylon's point, the everyday experience, for most people is probably
pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
It's literally just like gaming and loading. That's pretty much it.
The 7th Gen now. Well, we're at such a good point now with power in like mid-range chipsets. So like, let alone the flagship ones.
I would easily like daily like a 7 series phone. I would easily do it. It's not a big deal to me because I don't game on my phone first of all, and I switched to computer. I'm actually thinking about going back to a tablet for video editing. But yeah, I do like all the hard stuff on my computer or console, so it's not a big deal for me.
Hey, Barry's in the chat.
For this Pixel 4 XL was the 855. Huh. Okay. I thought it was 865. Oh well.
Me too.
That's okay. Well, But so I mean, and then and that's kind of like I said. I was just curious for people who use Pixel, like at a Snapdragon Summit. I don't know if that was kind of awkward. Probably not. I'm assuming, like I said, Joe and you guys made a good point that people using their iPhones clearly aren't going to be using a Snapdragon chip. So yeah, that's probably fair. Well, and again, so. I guess, and then how we're on the foldable kick now. So now every company's in on the foldable flippables. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think that's kind of a flash in the pan? Where do you stand?
Joe witnessed me freak out about the OnePlus Open. Like I was actually with Joe when I got my first hands on with the OnePlus Open, as well as the Find N3. One of the other insiders worked with Apple, so she was able to bring in the Find N3, which, if you don't know, is basically the same thing as the OnePlus Open, just different color and different region. But they had the OnePlus Open out on display, and I like went up to it and I just like freaked out because some of the deals that people were getting it for was like insane. Some of the pre-order deals were like, wow, people were getting it for $200 to $400, and I was too late. I couldn't do that, but I would definitely do it if I could afford it. That's my feelings on it. The OnePlus Open looks like an amazing phone. That's how I would dive into the world of foldables. I think I'm not a big fan of the design of the Fold 5. I do like the design of the Pixel Fold better, but again, that's just too expensive, and I know Google isn't going to do anything with trade-in. So, if anything, I would go for the OnePlus Open for sure.
Yeah, and what are your feelings on the flips? Do you?
I would rock a flip too. Yeah, 100%. The Flip 5. I was actually looking at the Flip 4, maybe. Well, so yeah, I think was it the Flip 5? Is that the latest one?
Yeah,
Okay, so before when I was buying my Pixel, it was between the Flip 5, the iPhone 15 Pro, and then the Pixel 8 Pro. I ended up going Pixel 8 Pro because Google's keynote just really sold me on it with all the AI features and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very high on the Flip series. I just like that form factor.
You love your flippy dippies, didn't you, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I'm still using the Moto Razr Plus. I'm considering I've got a couple days before I can return it. I'm kind of torn because the only thing I don't really like about it is the battery is not very good. And I think it's just because probably
that makes sense.
If they had the Gen 2 in it, probably would be a little better. It's not terrible and it charges pretty quickly. And again, I'm not a heavy user on my phone a lot, and I have access to charging at my desk at home, at my desk at work, and I commute, an hour from where I live to my office downtown. So I obviously can charge it in the car. So it's never like I'm like, oh my God, but I don't think I could get a full day. And if I had, it would be really close. I think by about 7:30, 8 o'clock, it'd probably be on vapor. It just, and I don't use it very often. And so that's the only thing. Other than that, I really like it. Although I will have to say that my first impressions are it doesn't, whenever I open it, it doesn't feel like the Flip 4 did. When I used the Samsung Flip 4, it was like it never made any noise. It never felt weird. It felt smooth. The Razr, there was a couple times I've opened it where it felt like it. I don't want to say it popped. That wasn't the right description, but it felt kind of clunky. Like it didn't feel smooth. Like when I opened it up, it didn't have that same kind of feeling that the Flip 4 did when I had the Flip 4. So
that makes sense, yeah.
Although I love it, I'll tell you right now, it's really nothing's better than holding it clamshell wise because the chop to turn the flashlight still works. And a lot of times I'm taking my dogs out at night and I got them on a leash and it's dark on that side of the house. So I can just go boom, boom. And I have it almost feels like I'm in Star Trek. Remember the little hand lights they used to have? Yeah. Dude, it never gets, I'm telling you, that feature on Moto phones and the twist to launch the camera, it never gets old. It's always handy.
I was a huge Motorola fan back in the day. Like I feel like I could do a Motorola phone again if their cameras got better and if their software support got better. Yeah. I would definitely do them. That used to be my favorite user interface for sure. Now it's like back to Pixel, but before that, Motorola was basically like Pixel UI plus like the few like Motorola enhancements like the chop feature and all of that. I loved Motorola devices for sure.
Well, they said that they're supposed to be getting a little better with the Razr and the Razr Plus as far as not only supporting longer. And actually, I just got, was it last week? Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. No, Wednesday or Thursday. I got the November security patch for it. So for a Moto, that's pretty wild because usually I know I had the last really Moto I had was the 30. Yeah, the Moto. I had the 22. Of the Edge 22, and I think I was sitting on the same security patch for 3 months. The entire 3 months I had that phone, it never updated once. So it seems like Motorola is doing a better job, and I think they've also described that they're going to actually support the device for a longer period of time. So hopefully they're improving. But yeah, the cameras for sure. On the Flip, they're pretty decent and they're okay for a flippable. Yeah. But yeah, if you're definitely a person who really really likes the camera, that could be a pain point on a Motorola device. It still just isn't. It just isn't.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Yeah.
It just isn't there. But I mean, but to your point earlier, Gaylon, about using lower end hardware, I mean, the regular Razr uses the 7 Gen, right? So it's and I heard it's really, really solid. Like I almost bought it. The only reason I didn't is because I really wanted to use the outer screen. And then it has come in handy. It is coming real handy. I can honestly say it's nice to use that when you don't have to open it up and deploy it to kind of get
that's true, yeah.
But yeah, they're pretty good. So we'll see. I'm kind of on the fence about returning it before the window, but I might just keep it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So, but it's I love Moto.
You got 2 days. You got long.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, I've got to do it either tomorrow or not at all because I'm going on my camping trip starting on Tuesday. So I will be past it. I'll probably keep it. Like I said, I like it except for the battery life. The battery life just isn't great. It's okay. And
how long's the contract on it? 2 years.
I bought it straight up.
Oh, you bought it straight up. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought it straight up. So I bought it unlocked from Best Buy. So there's no contract. That's another reason why to keep it, right? Because I don't I don't have a contract with it and everything else. So it's been solid. And I kind of torn because I had the Pixel 8 Pro, had to return that because of some I had to give some money back to my daughter for her car, which is fine. I loved using them. I wish I could get the features on the Pixel. Like I like the call screening. I love the features that Pixels provide.
Yeah.
And I'm not a gamer. Like to get to Galen's point, I mean, I've got a Switch. I don't.
One of the things that keeps me on Pixel, to be honest, because when I'm not using it, I do miss it.
Yeah.
It's the now playing feature is such a little thing.
I mean, yeah, that is just, it's game changing. And just the only thing is funny because I'll be just walking around a grocery store. And I never really thought about that they play music in the background because I don't pay attention to it. Yeah. But then I noticed that every time I've got my phone, I'm looking for something on the list. At the bottom, it has the now playing. I'm like, oh, there. And then I go, oh, there is music playing in the background. I wasn't even paying attention half the time. But or if I'm at I was doing physical therapy when I had my knee surgery, and it was kind of neat because I had the phone on the table when I was doing stuff, and it would show me what song was on, although I knew the songs they were playing. But it was kind of cool because sometimes you hear a song that you don't know the artist or you don't know the lyrics or you don't know the song. So it's kind of nice to go, and it keeps a record of that. So if you want to go back and if you saw part of a song, you're like, oh man, I really wanted to get that track, but I didn't catch who it was by and I don't recognize the song. It's nice because you can go back and it tells you the songs that listen to, and you can go back and search for those in YouTube Music or whatever. And
even songs in films, if you're watching a film and like songs are coming on during the film, and you're not going to look it up then, are you? Watching the film, but you can look back then. Yeah, it's a cool feature. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm just curious. Do you like the fact that that's exclusively Pixel, or would you like to see some of those features maybe start to stream into other, maybe like Samsung or Moto devices?
I don't understand why it isn't yet, honestly. Those are like everyday features to me anyway. The now playing and a lot of the call features that Google has, I don't see why other OEMs can't do it. Well, I don't know.
Samsung has their own one, didn't they?
I think they have a call screen. Yeah, I think they have a call screen for Bixby. I've never used it on my Fold 5, so I've never set it up.
I don't think I've ever enabled Bixby on the two Samsungs that I've had.
No.
Yeah, it's in the call settings. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's not as good as the call screen on the Pixel though. But that's an okay job.
Now, and would you say that between that and the camera capability as far as processing is what makes you use a Pixel, or are there other features? I mean, it can't be the speedy charging. Can't be that. Can't be the Tensor. Can't be the G3 because it's not the most horsepower. So is it other than the camera and then the other features? What are the other reasons why you think that the Pixel can
fluidity, the animations, and just the overall user interface? I think is a lot better on Pixel than Samsung. Samsung is still a little jitter, like they've gotten significantly better than what they used to be, but it's still like a little jittery, and I just don't like the Samsung animations primarily. I really like the size of my Pixel as well. I thought the S23 Ultra was like really good to hold in the hand, but when I like picked up the Pixel for the first time, I'm like, what in the world? Like, it's definitely the best feeling big phone out there for me right now.
I agree.
Yeah, so those are like the major things: the camera processing, fluidity, just the overall software experience. I just love it. I just tweeted this the other day. If Samsung did like a Google Play edition in 2023, like that would be my dream phone. Like a Samsung hardware device with Pixel UI and Pixel camera app, that would be crazy.
That would be good.
That reminds me of the good old HTC Google Play Edition phones they used to have back in the day. And I like the fact that HTC did that. They had their regular HTC Sense UI based phone, but then they had the GPE versions that were basically just a stock Android Google, like a Nexus version of it. I really wish that companies would do that, have that optional, just to take
100%.
I think that any
too much competition these days.
Yeah, and also, at least the ones I remember, you could still get the Google Play Experience ROM if you wanted to. You wanted to flash it, but then we're in that whole, does anybody really root or ROM their phones? They're not flashing custom recoveries. People aren't doing that anymore. So
I want to see like a number on that. How many people are still actually doing that in 2023?
I used to be pretty heavy into it, especially when I had my HTCs, because I had, there was Android Revolution, and there was a couple other Sense-based ROMs that were pretty nice. But I haven't. I haven't flashed a ROM on a phone since. Well, the last one it was hydrogen. I put hydrogen OS on one of my old OnePlus. I think it was the OnePlus 6 when they still had
the
hydrogen.
The last one I considered was the LG V20. I considered flashing Lineage OS on that just because apparently it was like such a good experience. The battery life was better and like a whole bunch of other things. Yeah, I considered that, but I never did it.
Yeah, isn't there a Pixel one that's I can't? Is it Graphene? Is it Graphene OS? I think is what is for Pixel only. I think is what you can do that. So, but yeah, I think it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's security focused. I mean, somebody in the chat might know more about it, but I've heard that they only do it for Pixel devices, so that's only available. For, Graphene.
Teacher said, "Yep."
Graphene. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looked pretty interesting. So I guess the question is now we got the Snapdragon. I mean, we got the S24 coming out. I mean, it doesn't sound like you're going to be in the mode. I don't know. I've seen, we got the OnePlus 12. So now we're getting on to the end of the year. We're starting to get into that January, February timeframe. So all the Xiaomi's and the OnePluses and all those cycles are coming around. Are you looking forward to any of that? Or are you looking forward to just maybe an 8A, Pixel 8A?
I'm curious to see what, Samsung does with the S24 Ultra because the S22 or the S23 Ultra was basically like a refinement year for the S22 Ultra. So I really think they're going to do something different for the S24 Ultra. We just have to wait to see.
Yeah. And he says Graphene, it is security focused. Okay,
I think Twinfold Tech also had that Graphene OS, I believe.
I heard it's pretty solid. So, and it's a really good alternative if you want more of a security based kind of approach to Android. It really helps. But I mean, I don't know. I guess of all the phones, I'm really kind of interested in the OnePlus 12 because somebody told me that the base model is 165512 and the high end is 24 gig, 1 terabyte.
Dude, that's a good range. That's a good range.
Wow, that's crazy though. 24 gigs of RAM and a terabyte. Man,
if the cameras are like the OnePlus Open, they're pretty solid.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I've seen people kind of complain about that, right? I've heard that it's sort of solid, and I believe it, but they're saying compared to the Pixel Fold, the OnePlus still falls short. And I'm like, hey, well then how?
Interesting.
So is the camera? It's not as good, but it's much better than the OnePlus 11, but it's not as good as the Pixel Fold, which is not as good as the Pixel 8 Pro, but still good, but not as good. I'm confused. I don't know.
I've seen a little bit of both, and OnePlus actually did something I've like never seen a phone company do. They sent this out to like a lot of photography content creators, like people who have legit photography channels. They sent them the OnePlus Open, and they've just like let them do all kind of stuff. Like I've seen people making music videos, like shooting like professional style shots with professional lighting and everything, just using the Open. And I think it's a really versatile camera. I like the fact that it gets up to 120 times digital zoom. That's a big deal for me personally. That was like one of my favorite things about the camera of the S23 Ultra. But 30x is definitely enough for the Pixel. But I mean, who wouldn't want more?
Right, especially if it's good to have it and not need it than the other way around, right?
Exactly.
It's like, you could have the 100 if you really needed it, but I mean, it's nice to say, well, if I need to get to 60 or 50 times, you could. That's pretty nice. Like I said, I always think that they should always offer more of the features, even if people don't use the features. It's nice to really have that in the toolbox in case you want to deploy it. Because most people, maybe they won't go past 10 or 12 or 15. Hell, most iPhone users don't realize that there's the default is 1080p. It's like, you got to change that to 4K, right? And it's like,
well, this is what brings me on to the S24 Ultra. Actually, a lot of people are bitching about how they're dropping the 10x, but the 5x is going to have a bigger sensor and a higher megapixel count. It's only going to be better. Like I know losing the 10x is a bit of a bummer, but the 5x should be pretty capable. Like the Pixel 8 Pro 5x is fantastic at 10x, I think. Especially low light. In fact, I'd say it's better than the S23 Ultra because of the higher megapixel count and the larger sensor.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm just curious, but I mean, I really think that with the new camera, I mean, and that seems to be. Honestly, with phones now, and I don't know if Gaylon, you would agree with this, it seems like the improvements are definitely on the camera side. That seems to be what's driving the improvements 100%. On camera. Because I mean, really, at this point, we're topped out on resolution, right? I mean, we could have 4K, but really 1080p, right? And and 2K. Speakers are usually pretty solid, right? You can't really do much more because you got small drivers and small woofers and small, hardware to deal with. And it seems like the focus on all these phones with the iterative updates really is not so much design of the phone. It really is camera and optics and processing. That really seems to be the only real thing that is driving these phones now. Maybe with the processor update, obviously.
Yeah, I think the major reason because of that is because companies basically have to wait for the software to update before they could really do anything like major. I think the Android updates are bigger than phone updates, like currently anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah. And is that, and then for a person that's photography based, that's a good thing. But I guess my question is, if you're not so much a camera focused person like me, I'm not exactly, again, I don't want a bad camera, but it doesn't drive me. It makes me wonder, like, do I really want these devices? Like, I'm okay with just keeping the 2 or 3 year old. Like, if I had a Pixel 7 Pro, I probably would keep it. I mean, honestly, it seems like a pretty solid. Or if I could pick one up for, $290 or $300,
100%,
as opposed to maybe spending $800 to $900 on a Pixel 8 Pro. Honestly, if you don't need the processor, it's pretty good bargain.
Yeah,
pretty solid. Yeah,
good time to be alive in the used market right now. It's a great time to be alive.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
And with Pixels, they age like fine wine. Like, so like even the 6 Pro, you get the 6 Pro now.
Plummet too. Especially in the United States, Samsung and Pixel devices plummet like
big time.
After 3 months, you're getting it for $300 off if you can wait.
Well, I think I saw
1 or 2 year old flagship.
I think somebody was selling a Pixel Fold for, I think it was like $960. So, and it looked like it's in pretty good shape. Yeah, I mean, it's already we're 3 months in.
The price. Yeah.
I mean, you're already at $960 straight up. It's like, I mean, it's pretty interesting that same thing with Pixel. I would have thought that they would have kind of held their price, but yeah, I mean, I saw Pixel 7 Pros for like 318, 323, 350, and so even the 6 Pros, we're talking like sub 200 in some cases, right? In pretty good shape, maybe some scratches and some wear, but you're looking at a 6 Pro for like $195, $205. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
That's an amazing deal, especially for like the average person. If you're not a techie, you're like you can live off of a phone for 4 years these days. Honestly, like it's that
definitely
good. Unless there's like some sort of major like software update that brings something you've been waiting for the past 10 years or something, like you're chilling on hardware alone.
Right.
Yeah.
So switching gears, apparently I don't know if you've been paying attention, the Cybertruck's coming out. So you guys signing up for one because it's only like $100,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sell my house.
It's like, I mean, the base model rear wheel drive is 60. Like 60,000 or 60,000, 61,000. And then there's the 2 different versions. They're all-wheel drive. And then there's like an all-wheel drive Supreme. It's $100,000. Who's buying that car? I mean, who's buying that vehicle? Nobody in this chat's buying it. I guarantee you. It's like, I think it's, I mean, hot take. I think it's the ugliest looking thing I've ever seen. I think it's
it's not the prettiest, definitely. I mean, I enjoy the videos, when it's people are shooting the shit out of it. I enjoy them.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, well, honestly, and Gaylon knows, if you're from St. Louis, you probably that's probably something you probably would like to really know, is if your Cybertruck can withstand some 9mm and 40 cal fire, because that in St. Louis that can actually happen. I mean, seriously,
you never know. You never know.
I mean, around here it's like the Wild West, but I don't know.
You really want me to come and see you?
Yeah,
you make it sound great.
It's not as bad. It's not that bad, but it's bad.
No.
St. Louis is such a weird place.
Like I said, and I've lived in
Make sure you go down the right
life.
street, right?
Right. Well, and it's just, and I've lived in St. Louis my whole life, so I kind of can run with it a little bit. So it's just funny. But everything you heard, it's like, well, it's not 100% true, but I can't argue the point. It's like you're in this weird spot. Right. That's not exactly it. It's not like there's open running gunfights. This isn't Mad Max, but it's not. I can't sit there and say you're totally full of shit.
Place in the world. You want to keep your head on a swivel, basically.
Yeah. If you're down, and also downtown St. Louis is different because it's really just a business district.
It's way different now. Yeah.
So really after 5:30, 6 o'clock, it's really not like, I've been to Boston. They're downtown on a Sunday. There's people at the park. There's people walking around. In downtown St. Louis, unless there's a convention going on or a game, there's nobody downtown.
Exactly.
It's just a business district.
Part,
yeah, it's just a business district. Really, all it's there is just for work and stuff. And people don't normally hang out downtown unless, again, there's a reason they wouldn't go to Keener Plaza and just sit there in Keener Plaza, which is a little plaza, like a little park kind of thing.
Yeah,
you would just sit down there at 2:00 on a Sunday, just reading a book. People aren't doing that.
No. Yeah, my fiance works she works on North Broadway, so it's really close to your planet. Like she goes to lunch there like pretty frequently. Like 1 week it could be like a shooting, and then like for the rest of like the year it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a weird place.
Oh, Sexy Red.
I guess that's in East St. Louis, which isn't St. Louis. That's in Illinois.
Sexy Red is not from East St. Louis, by the way, LaShawn. She's from regular St. Louis, I think.
Okay.
She. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like I said, and that's what because I went to Boston on some trips, and that was kind of wild. So I flew in on a Sunday for some business, and I got there. I was walking around and there's just people everywhere. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. It's a nice day, and there's just people in the park, people walking around, people flying kites, people having a picnic. I'm like,
flying kites.
This is downtown in Boston. Yeah, there are people just hanging out like it was like a no big deal. I was like, wow, this is definitely different than I'm used to.
You make it sound like Mary Poppins.
Well, when you live in St. Louis and you go downtown there and see how other metropolitan areas handle their downtown areas, it's much different than St. Louis.
Yeah, it's a lot of abandoned. Well, it's not really even abandoned buildings. It's just older buildings that no one wants anything to do with. Like they're not abandoned; they just use them for office space, like
storage.
We have a lot of like buildings that people just don't use. Like I don't know. We could have like a lot more, like we could definitely be like a tech city like Seattle or something. We just don't do anything with what we have. That's right. What the problem is with St. Louis right now.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's because it can be a pretty good place. It's just right now it's just in this weird spot and it's hard to get, just flip a switch and kind of make everything happen. So, so I saw the Cybertruck. I'm sorry. Just $100,000 is crazy. Although the specs are nuts. First of all, it's 0 to 60 in like 2.9 seconds, which is dumb. And it has 10,000 foot-pounds of torque. 10,000 foot-pounds. It's nuts. If you think of like the best, like one of the most higher-end sports cars, like you think about a Mustang, I mean, it's got 800 horsepower, maybe it's 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, maybe 1,000. And that's crazy, right? This thing has got 10 times the torque. It's just bonkers.
Yeah, but Sam, like you always say, it's more about the range.
Yeah, I mean, well, and again, that's what we'll wait to see, right? Because the Ford Lightning, it's like, it gets 300-mile range until you tow a camper, and then it's 75 miles. And then it's like, what the hell? Why have that, right? So I'm curious. At least the Lightning looks like a truck. At least the Rivian looks kind of like a truck, right? I mean, the Rivian sort of looks like although I think the headlights in front, they're goofy looking. I think it looks like a space alien thing. But the Cybertruck I'm sorry, it just does not do anything for me. Even if that thing was $30,000, I wouldn't buy it. I would buy a regular
one.
I don't even think I'd buy a regular
I'd sell
Tesla, honestly. I don't know.
Honestly, if I won one, I would sell it because I don't even want to drive the darn thing. Because one, I don't own a truck, and on top of it, I can't drive that. I just think it's butt ugly. Sorry, I just think it's just now. For some people, they love that design. It's real space age looking, and it's all cool. And I guess it would be cool because if you drove that on the street, I mean, people are definitely going to pay attention to it. I mean, that's if that's what you're trying to do, you're going to win because people see that for the first couple.
Right.
But honestly, I just don't see the practicality in it, and I think the price
there is no practicality with that product anyway.
Yeah,
and I think that's like what that product is for. Honestly, just for the people who are gonna buy it just to buy it.
Looks like a kid drew a card. Do you know what? There's a guy who he made up like animals that his kid drew up. He made them like real animals, but the way his kid drew them, it's quite cool. I like that, Tremaine. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and like I said, and Hala, and LaShawn, if I did win one, I would sell it. I would sell it immediately, and I'd take the money and I would pay off some bills, and that would be about it. Right, buy a house or pay off some bills or bank the rest of it.
Sam would be getting his selfies first, though. Be like,
yeah. Well, I guess I would just take I'd get
a few videos on TikTok, make some passive income.
Sam's TikTok.
I got to make some videos talking about how cool it versus the other truck or whatever. I mean, that's not my jam, And then again, I find it interesting that he's making videos, that people make videos about the Cybertruck. But it's like, I mean, you're gonna buy one, fine, but most people, if you say it's $100,000, who has that? Well, I guess you have that money if you're, but what's the payment on that? It's like what, maybe 11? How much is that? Maybe like $900 to $1,100 a month. That's just for a vehicle payment. It's crazy to me. I'm sorry. It just cracks me up. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's your money. Buy what you want, right? If you want to buy a Cybertruck or whatever, I'm just saying for $100,000, I would save a little bit of money. I'd buy like a Tacoma or a Tundra if I needed a truck, or maybe an older F-150 because I would buy something that's reliable. That's another thing too, is you're buying a brand new, essentially experimental vehicle. That's all. It's funny. Those are the people that will buy that truck and not blink, but yet bitch at you if you buy a Pixel Fold because it's first gen tech. That's the most first gen tech in the history of first gen tech. There's no such thing. And do me a favor. If you have a Cybertruck, drive it to your local mechanic shop and ask them if they won't even look at it. Like, I ain't touching that damn thing. You have to take it to the only Tesla. There's like a couple of places. Well, what if they're busy and you can't get it? And there's a part you're missing for 6 weeks.
What if your battery runs out before you get there?
Or whatever. Or what if you get my buddy I talked to, he works for Chicago. He works for Chicago's Federal Reserve, and he bought a brand new C8 Corvette. 3,500 miles, the transmission already failed. It blew. I mean, I got in the car the other day. It threw me some weird code. It wouldn't start. The car wouldn't start. And it threw some weird code. He had it towed to a GM dealership. They had to send the code to GM because even the dealership was like, we don't know what this code is. And he found out that GM's going to have to replace the entire transmission. This car, if he would have had to pay for it, it'd have been $14,000 to replace the transmission.
Oh wow,
$14,000. I was like, and then he had 3,500 miles on it. That's it, and it already failed. That's why I buy a manual. So I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know if it's just it's. I guess do you boo? It's your money. You want to spend it on a Cybertruck? That's cool, but you couldn't pay me to take one of those. I think they're fugly.
Me neither.
So, but yeah. If you get the Cyber, that's true. And if you're looking for that, but I'd say if you got $100,000, buy a different car, and you can get all the buns you want. You get other buns. Just saying. Cybertruck's cool, I guess. Sure. Anyway, so
do you know what? On that comment though, that will be the faults of a lot of people buying them as well.
Well, I don't, maybe that, but also just you would definitely be the first person in your neighborhood to own one, and you would park. I mean, if you pulled up in like traffic, right? You're at a stoplight in Manchester or some you're going to be people are holy shit. People are going to ask you about it. But I mean, but then in that case, are you buying the truck for you, or are you buying it for somebody else? And
my question, like, how mainstream is the Cybertruck now, or how mainstream is it going to be? Because I don't think a lot of people are going to get it.
No,
I don't even think people. I mean, honestly, let's ask 100 people. Do you even know what it is? And maybe half of
people
them
know what a Tesla. People know what a Tesla is now, but it took like a while for that to happen.
Right, 10 years.
Like if you're looking for buns, you might want a different car. That's my point, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it depends on what. I don't know what kind of buns that Sean's looking for. He might be looking for a specific kind of buns, and then maybe those buns like those kinds of cars. I don't know. I don't know. Because like I said, it's
you can't just go to a bun shop.
You could go to a bun shop and just buy your own bun.
A bakery.
Right. Right. And Aditya says basically if Cybertruck equals buns, I'd probably sell it down payment on an actual baker. Give a man a bun, he eats a meal. Teach a man to bake, and he's an entrepreneur. You got all the buns you need.
Yes, like it.
You can make your own buns, and then you're bun happy, right? It's all good. So I don't know. I find it funny how people make a comment about that video. I think it was it Jerry Rick who's made a video, and I guess he's comparing the Rivian and the Lightning and the Cybertruck and all that kind of stuff. And people are kind of giving them stuff about, we're arguing about what's better. You'll eat your words. Lightning's better. I'm like, nobody knows what's going to be better. I mean, the Cybertruck isn't even available yet. And I guess the rear wheel drive one, I think it will be so one of them's not even available till 2025. So it's like, it's been 4 or 5 years for this damn vehicle. And it's like, I don't know. Just if you want to get a Tesla, sure, go for it. It makes you happy. I'm not buying it. I'm good.
No, I'm good. I'd buy probably the cheapest. I'm a really value focused person.
Right.
So that's out of the equation just based on that. If I were to go to EV, I probably wouldn't even buy a Tesla. I'd probably buy a Kia electric or something. I don't know. It's just weird.
I thought, well, I guess the Hyundai's got the Ioniq. That looks pretty. The Ioniq 5.
Yeah, the Ioniq looks nice. Yeah,
It look okay. And like I said, I'm just glad that there are other electrical options other than just a Tesla, right? That other vehicles. But it's funny how the two companies that you haven't seen really doing is Toyota and Honda. Wonder why? Because they're still on
reliability yet.
Hybrids.
I think they're still in the hybrid. I still think that they think that hybrid technology, the Prius and the Insight is the way to go. That's why they're not fully electric.
I think it is, to be honest.
I think it. Why, as a Prius owner, I love that car. And honestly, I had 250,000 miles. I didn't have any problem with that at all. I basically was a Corolla with a battery, is what it turns into. Obviously, if you have a chance to, pick one up. I mean, other than the battery kind of failing, and you have to deal with that. But other than that, I mean, I had it for quarter of a million miles. I never had any problem except the radio broke. I mean, that was the only problem I had with the car in quarter of a million miles. I thought that was pretty good. I just, it's funny that Toyota is probably one of the largest companies in the world that has the most reliable vehicles in the world, and they're not touching electrics with a 20-foot pole right now. I just find it interesting.
Says a lot. Yeah, it does say a lot, doesn't it?
Yep, and I agree with that. I 100% agree with Shark. Just get a hybrid and call it a day. More practical and the best of both worlds.
100%.
Absolutely. The only thing I wish on the Prius was if the battery failed, it would just basically you could drive it like a Corolla. It would just work without the battery, right? You'd lose the gas mileage, but if the main battery fails, that's going to cost a little bit of money. But other than that, man, it's pretty solid. And I agree. I would say, Gaylon, I'm more your speed, like more of the Honda Civic, those kind of cars. Or something that can easily fix that you can take it to any mechanic. It's like, oh yeah, you got a 2004 Buick LeSabre, no problem. I can get parts easy. Anybody will work on them. Yeah, it's a little bit of an old guy car, but it's solid, it's reliable, and it's easy to work on. It doesn't cost you a lot of money.
Just going off cars for a bit because I don't like cars much. What's been your two favorite phones this year that you've used?
I've only used the S23 Ultra and the Pixel 8 Pro, so those are probably my favorites.
I was going to say, Gaylon's like, I've used two. I'll go with those two.
To be fair, for you, it'd be watches, right? What would be your favorite watch this year?
I didn't do a lot of watches this year, actually.
Did you not?
I just got the TicWatch Pro 5. I still haven't unboxed it yet. I use the
Sullivan loves his.
Yeah, I use the Watch 5 Pro every day. If that answers your question, that's been my favorite for like the solid past year and a half. I wanted to upgrade to the Watch 6 Classic because that thing looks freaking
you saw mine, didn't you?
Silver one. The silver one. Yeah, you really upset me with that. But yeah,
it is nice.
Yeah, that's I don't want a Pixel Watch. I don't want a Pixel Watch. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Is it just the battery life? Is it the battery life, or is it just the overall design? And
the size and design.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of like my watches looking like actual watches, and
me too.
The Pixel Watch just kind of looks like a toy to me. So yeah, that's why I can't do it.
So this is a good question. I'm glad Joe brought up the fact that we were talking about watches. So for me, I've got this is my Galaxy Watch 3. Right? So it works okay. Its battery's not great. I can last kind of a day. It has to charge at night, which kind of sucks. But if you were like, and the other thing I usually use is a Mi Band 6, right? That's because I just basic notifications. But
I love Mi Band so much, man.
Yeah, they're so nice. And for me, it just works, right? Because it's simple. It does because I don't use a lot of.
It does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Right. And I have all these apps on my phone, but I never really use them. So I figured, why not get, and then I think I bought my Mi Band 6. I think it was $45, brand new.
They're crazy value.
It's been solid, man. And but if I were to get more of a smart watch, but I don't want to. I focus on battery life. I'd like to get at least 2 days, probably 3 to 4. What do you think for a person like me who doesn't want to spend, let's say I don't want to spend $500, let's say I want to spend $250. Is there something that I can get that would be a good choice in the $250 that would give me 2 to 3 plus days of battery life and then doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles, just something that's solid that performs well.
Amazfit all the way. Amazfit. They're probably my favorites. I'm weird. I kind of like categorize smartwatches in like 3 to 4 different categories. So you have like your basic Amazon watch, it's like $20, tracks your steps, does everything, but doesn't have GPS. There's a level like right above that does basically all that, but has GPS. Usually that's like in the $80 to $200 range. And then there's the Amazfits that have like mastered like that aspect of it, the fitness tracking, notification management. But you could also download certain apps and things that just make the experience better. And then you have smartwatches. You have your Apple Watch, your Wear OS watches, everything above that. So for your use, I would definitely recommend an Amazfit. It's definitely very reliable, does everything it's supposed to do. You could do literally everything except for respond to notifications. That's
okay, and that's all right. Like I said, I'd just rather see them, you know, and that's fine. But yeah, because I'm just kind of looking around. I'm looking at the Huawei because I've had my other watch is an older Huawei. I think it's just
nice.
I mean, I love that phone, and I've got this one. I bought a Milanese band, but on my Huawei watch, it's just a regular metal one, and I love that. I'm thinking about getting a GT4, but it's just
looks beautiful.
More with the issue with
they look so good, yeah.
But I mean, first of all, I mean, definitely not going to get into it for less than $250 because they're kind of expensive. Maybe the GT3, maybe possibly I can get it for like.
And the crazy thing is, I feel like they shouldn't be. I guess build quality and design kind of that's where all their price is, because in terms of functionality, they're pretty much on the same like level as Amazfit and companies like that. But yeah, it's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, even and that watch, Huawei watch is old. It's still Wear OS, and it's kind of old. I mean, it's still one of my favorites. I love using. I just think the design of the watch. I think it looks more like a watch. I mean, it really has that kind of feel to it. It doesn't feel like, obviously it doesn't feel cheap in any stretch. I don't think Huawei makes anything that feels cheap as far as their hardware.
No, they're premium. Definitely.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of debating whether or not to get like a GT3. And I've seen those Amazfits and they look really nice. So I might, if I want it more of a domestic thing and not have to worry about having to use like Huawei Health and try to like side load it and get all weird and stuff, maybe just go with the Amazfit, because I do think that they look pretty good as far as capability.
Sam, what's been your favorite phone then? You've had quite a few.
I would say my favorite phone. I mean, as much as I agree with Gaylon,
this year.
I don't like the form factor, but the Fold 5. I really wish
okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as again, I'm not a huge fan of One UI. It's okay. I just got the One UI 6 with 14. It looks pretty good. But as far as screen, as far as when I open it, how it feels, the speakers are really good on it. Battery life is actually pretty exceptional on the Fold 5. I actually think it's pretty good. I would say that's my favorite. I mean, I really would like to say a Duo 3 because I'm never going to be able to say a Duo 3.
If only.
Yeah, if only, right. But yeah, I would say of all the phones I've used, but I also really enjoyed the OnePlus 10 Pro. I got that early in the year. I love that phone. Gaylon talks about how a phone feels, and it just like feels right for you. That the build on the 10 Pro, and I haven't had a chance to get the 11 because I got a really good deal on the 10 Pro. I don't know, OnePlus phones would like when I used I had the 6 and the 7 Pro and the even the 3T and even the 5, those older ones, they always just the hardware always felt solid to me. I like the way they felt. I don't know. It's just
they're coming in strong now, aren't they? They are coming in strong.
I mean, I'm glad, and I'm telling you that OnePlus 12 looks amazing. Like I think if they can get the camera and the Hasselblad and finally get the processing done, man, for a non-pixel phone, it's going to be hard to beat the hardware on that thing. I think it's going to look sharp.
I think it would do well in the US. Yeah.
I think so. It should, because there's no reason why it shouldn't if you're in the Android space. I mean, especially considering you can get it for a lot less than any kind of a Samsung. The S23 Ultra is great.
Yeah, right.
But as far as
they do deals like they did with the Open on pre-order.
I think they will. And the deals in the Open were really aggressive. I almost got one. I know Barry got a super good deal, and I know he's going to get a OnePlus 12.
Actually, shout out to OnePlus. Did you see how they put a lot of their community on the box? That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Big shout out to them.
Especially, can you imagine being a part of their community and like not knowing it? All of a sudden, you look in the box and there's your
man.
Your
how
handle.
happy would you be?
Oh shit! How that was cool. Like I think there were people on Twitter legitimately reacting to seeing the first time and not knowing it was going to happen. And going,
it was so nice.
And you know what it cost? Nothing. See, it cost you nothing. It was a nice little thing. It cost you nothing, but look at what you get out of that. You got a community of fans who now feel more engaged, and it was literally ink on a box, and it was just a nice gesture. I thought it was fantastic.
Really nice.
I thought that was
big shout out to OnePlus there.
If you're considering OnePlus, you might want to get the OnePlus Watch 2 coming out.
I thought about that, and I was going to ask you, but have you ever tried any of the OnePlus devices like that?
I had the OnePlus. Original OnePlus Watch. I had the original OnePlus Watch, and they kind of went the Amazfit route of basically just having like a glorified fitness tracker. You could do everything except for respond to notifications and download apps, just like Amazfit. And I think it was up there, like it was just as good as Amazfit. I think Amazfit was a little better just because they've been active longer, but the original OnePlus Watch was really good. I'm kind of curious to see like what they'll do with the second one with Wear OS, because the next one apparently is going to have a Snapdragon processor. So I'm automatically assuming that it's going to run Wear OS just because of that. So
you'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah. I've never heard that OnePlus called Dumb Plus before.
That's LaShawn. He's being a hater. He I guess he with his I guess he's had a little bit of fun today. He actually had some haterade to drink. He's a little extra. He's a little haterade. He's actually he's a little saucy today. It's okay. That's LaShawn. I love him no matter what, even though he's throwing shade. It's
another question to you guys before you go. Like, so that's your favorite phones you've used. What ones? Like, if you could have any phone you could get, like the Xiaomi's, the Oppos that you haven't got access to, is there a phone that you wish you'd got hands on this year?
I'd still say it's the OnePlus Open for me. 100%.
I would say the Open.
Okay.
Yep.
But you nearly got it, Sam. You nearly got it.
Yeah, you know what it was? I don't know what it is, but it would not take my payment. I tried to use the Discover card.
Wasn't meant to be.
No, it kept throwing me an error. And I had a problem when I tried to get the OnePlus 11 on their website, OnePlus's website. It's like, what am I doing wrong? And the car, I said, they don't take Discover. No, they take Discover. I even tried to do it with my just using PayPal, and it still wouldn't process the damn payment. It kept throwing me some kind of stupid error. And finally, I just gave up. I was like, well, I can't buy it. And I didn't want to put it on the other card. I had another MasterCard. I was like, why isn't it taking this payment? And I remember thinking about that a couple of months prior. I had tried to buy the OnePlus 11 from their website and ran into the same damn problem. I'm like, what is going on with this? It would not take the payment. I don't know what it was. And obviously the card's good. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah. My obsession with the OnePlus Open is like so bad. I still have it in my cart. And weekly, at least like 2 or 3 times a week, I'll go and look at the trade-in value, because that's like what's been separating the price. Like they'll increase the trade-in value of phones a little bit, or they'll make the EDU discount a little more.
Yeah, so kind of adjust a little bit. Yeah.
He looks back and his missus has removed it from the cart.
Yeah, and that's it, LaShawn. They just didn't want to get the phone. They were picking on me. That's what it was. He's right. LaShawn's just basically saying that's Dumb Plus for you. God, you know what? I almost wanted to just basically have somebody buy the phone and then me PayPal them the $1,000, whatever. Right. I was almost going to reach out to Barry and go, hey, Barry, can you do me a favor? Place this order, and I'll PayPal you
admin fee.
Right. Well,
it'd be cheaper to just buy another device, because they're still giving like $800 for the S23, and you could definitely get a S23 Ultra for like $600 right now. And
I'll trade it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, so I agree. I would have to be, I didn't say with Gaylon, I agree. I think the OnePlus Open was, I really wish I would have that in hand.
See, for me, it's the Xiaomi 13 Ultra with the camera kit. Yeah, I really wish I had hands on that.
Did you see Juan's video about?
Yeah, that's disappointing. Very disappointing to see that.
It looked like the thing is damn disintegrating. It's cracking on every corner. I mean, that's really not
fit for purpose. Clearly,
no. I mean, I'm wondering if that's hopefully, maybe it's just a one-off with just the item, but I don't know, man. I
haven't seen any others, but.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, God, I would be really upset. I can understand why he's pissed off, because that would really bother me.
They need to replace that for him.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, seriously, he's only had a little bit. He's already got basically every corner's cracking. He definitely see Joe likes a real phone. You know what?
And he's.
I'm just Sean.
Thank you.
He's being extra today. He's trying to do it. I love Sean. He's just fucking with me. See, Joe knows, and Joe does know a real phone. He definitely is. That's why I keep him on the show, because he's so good. He's such a smart guy. Yeah, he's good looking.
Amazing.
Joe's amazing.
Cheers,
nice
guys.
guy. And we love it. And damn, it got dark here. That
happened to me that time. Remember?
Yeah, it was just like I had the light on. And it was like it's not even 5 o'clock here, and it's already.
It gets dark at 4:30 now. It's absolutely insane, man.
It's depressing. I don't like
crazy.
it. It throws me off. But anyway, so we're you know, it's another 24 is coming up. It's another great year for devices and phones and tech. And, you know, we didn't even talk about the gaming stuff and all the other things that are going on in the gaming world. That's definitely a topic that we have to definitely address with you next time you come on, Gaylon. And hopefully, you know, we're trying to keep it where we have the same kind of core group of folks come on and have, instead of just having everybody come on, people like you that are really close to our group. And, you know,
Sam, we're going to go on Gaylon's podcast.
We're gonna have a weekend where we just basically set up you guys coming on the Trust the Tech podcast and then us coming on the Nomad Tech on Sundays. Oh, yeah. We usually stream Saturdays, so I think we've had Sam on before. I don't think
it was a great time. It was one of my favorite episodes. I don't get to go on.
We'll do that. We'll do a weekend of.
Yeah, a little back, a little what do they call it? The little back-to-back, right? A home and home, right? That's what they call it in hockey. Right? You go play their barn on Sunday, then you come to your barn on Sunday and play the next day.
Yeah, right? Home and away.
100%.
Yeah, we'll do a little home and home. That's cool. So absolutely, when you guys want to set that up, Gail, let us know. We'd be honored as always to be on your show. It's always a good time. I had a great time. It was one of my favorite shows to do. I like that kind of stuff. It's always a good time.
Oh yeah, Joe.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Telegram. So.
Definitely, man. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely. So again,
but you're not using it.
What?
You don't use Telegram normally.
No, you and Novan are the only people I talk to on Telegram.
I talk to Joe, and then we have and then my daughter. My daughter, she has an iPhone. We've used Telegram for years. She just prefers that. So I've used.
I like Telegram.
I do too. I really think it's actually a pretty solid service.
Nice, it's better than WhatsApp for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I agreed.
100%.
So absolutely. So Gaylon, thank you so much for coming on. I realize that I was a little late than normal, but thanks for being a sport and coming on. And we always enjoy having you on. You're one of our favorite people to come on the project.
No problem. I appreciate the invite. You guys are awesome, especially Joe. No offense, Sam, but
no, it's okay. None taken. He is awesome.
Always welcome, man. Always welcome.
Absolutely, I agree. You don't have to apologize. I agree 100% with that assessment. That's okay. He's a cool dude. I like Joe. He's one of my favorite people. That's why I do the show. He actually is what got me to come back, and I've been extremely happy. It's been a really good 63 episodes now.
Because you're so damn good, Sam. You need to be on the air.
Oh God, I have a face for radio. That's for darn sure. But that's another discussion for another day. So. But again, Gaylon, thank you so much, and we'd love to have you on. Just let us know when you want to do the weekend thing. That would be fantastic, and we would love to.
Well, for sure.
Absolutely. And that's it. So for myself, for Gaylon, and for Joe Hickey, thank you for tuning in to the Nomad Tech Project, again, on this third day of December 2023. We'll be back next Sunday. Don't have a guest lined up, so it might just be Joe and I, but that's okay. We'll go off at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. GST. And we'll have another.
Probably be after that.
Well, actually, it'd be like 3:07 probably, to be fair.
Something like that. Yeah.
You can't be on time. It just isn't our jam. Anyway, so thanks a lot for showing us. Make sure you download the podcast and tell all your friends. And again, to Gaylon, thank you so much for showing up.
Oh, no problem.
And for us, having a good week. Enjoy your tech. Look forward to the next year, and Christmas is coming up. And again, be excellent to each other. And we'll catch you all next Sunday on the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. Take care, everybody.
Peace.